Hey guys, how's it going? It is Jace here, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. For today's video, I thought we'd do a little something different and talk about the one killer perk that is good for that one certain killer. What this basically is going to be is that no barbecues, no pops, no ruins, just that one perk that doesn't get used quite as often, but is good on certain killers. But with that being said, guys, if you like what you see or hear, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe down below. Also, if you guys want to follow me on my DBD journey on Twitch, feel free to hop on my Twitch channel, Jace Games, link in the description down below. But with that being said, let's get to the video. Starting off with Trapper. With Trapper, I recommend the perk Corrupt Intervention. Early game is so important on Trapper, and those few extra moments of those 3 gens being blocked could save you a lot of time as survivors try to walk around you and as you pick up traps and set up traps. So with that being said, I am going to recommend Corrupt Intervention on Trapper. For Wraith, I am going to recommend Nurse's Calling. When you are invisible, you have no TRAS, and survivors can't see or hear you. Well, it depends on the add-ons that you have, but if you see a healing survivor healing in the corner as you are undetectable, all you have to do is just ring your bell and then just wail them with your weapon. Boom, they are dead. For Hillbilly, I am going to recommend Nemesis. When a survivor drops the pallet on you, the survivor that drops the pallet becomes your obsession and gains the Oblivious status effect. So with that being said, having no heartbeat on a Hillbilly makes the survivor very confused, and you're gonna have to show them what you got with Nemesis. With Nurse, I recommend Infectious Fright. Now keep in mind, I am not a Nurse player. This is based on performances that I've seen with other Nurse mains, as well as coming in, there's going to be some killers that I have not played, and I'm going to give my advice toward them. But anyway, Infectious Fright on Nurse. When you hit that survivor with your down, and then they start screaming around your terrorists, feel free to go around and get the other survivor that's just standing near the corner or fixing the gen nearby. Now for Huntress, if you are a good Huntress, why not put on Bitter Murmur? Every time a generator is complete, you see the auras of survivors that have completed that generator for a short duration, and you see all the auras of all the survivors within 10 seconds after the 5th gen is complete. So if you think you're good at nailing some people down with your hatchets, go ahead and put on Bitter Murmur. It's probably one of the more unique perks you can put on her. Now for the shape, I'm going to recommend Monitor Abuse. This is because you want to have a low terror radius when you're stalking. Michael already has a smaller terror radius compared to other killers, so with that being said, why not get a little bit extra closer with your Monitor Abuse? Also, there's some add-ons where the terror radius can actually be smaller for your own benefit. Alright, next up we got Hag, and for Hag I am going to recommend Franklin's Demise. It's kind of a bit mean, but this is probably one of the best uses of Franklin's Demise I can possibly see. When a survivor drops the item, feel free to put a trap on that item, so if a greedy survivor wants to take that lost item, you just spawn right back up and wail them with your arm. Next up, we're going to check out the Doctor, and I'm going to recommend Hex Huntress Lullaby for Doctor. Doctor already has difficult skill checks when you get them into madness. So with that being said, why not add a little bit more difficulty? And it's pretty mean, but it gets the job done very nicely. Alright, for Cannibal, this is pretty much an easy one, but Bamboozle is probably the best perk to use on Cannibal. You go through the vault, the entity blocks it, survivors cannot use it. And it's great when you're revving up your chainsaw and you're trying to get those downs with those chainsaws. For Freddy, I'm going to recommend Thrilling Tremors. When you pick up a survivor, the entity blocks generators that are not being worked on. After hooking a survivor and you see the generators that are currently being worked on, you can teleport to them because Freddy has a teleport ability that makes him teleport to generators. Combine Thrilling Tremors with Pop Goes the Weasel, it can be very easy. Alright, for Pig, I am going to recommend Whispers. Pig has a undetectable ability on her where she crouches, she is undetectable. So when you put on Whispers and you see Whispers light up, immediately head for your crouch state, and as the moment you see a survivor, uncrouch. Don't ambush. Well, ambush if you want to, but I recommend not ambushing when you're the Pig. But get out of your crouch, hit your survivor with the N1 the moment you see them, and then that will be money. Alright, for Clown, I'm going to recommend Trail of Torment. For Trail of Torment, you gain the undetectable status effect until you injure or down a survivor. This could be coming in handy because you can throw your bottles at survivors and then hit them immediately. For Spirit, I'm going to recommend Strider. When Spirit is in her phase, you cannot see any survivors, so you might as well put your ears to work with Strider. Alright, let's move on to Legion, and I'm going to recommend Hysteria. This is one of the more recent perks, and I am recommending Hysteria on Legion. Just a heads up though, the moment you first hit a survivor, Hysteria is going to activate, so that in the start of the game you injure a survivor, Hysteria is going to activate, and it's not going to reactivate for another 30 seconds. So if you keep survivors injured long enough, you're going to have a nice Hysteria value game. For Plague, I'm going to recommend Thanatophobia. Make survivors who do not want to cleanse your vomit, make them want to cleanse with Thanatophobia. And I know this could be a little bit difficult because hardcore survivors do not want to cleanse because they do not want you to get your corrupt purge or your red vomit. So make them want to cleanse with Thanatophobia. It's going to slow down gen progression, and it's going to make them have a heck of a time. For Ghostface, I'm going to recommend Discordants. When Discordance procs up, you can quickly head on over there while you're undetectable, stock multiple survivors, and let's say if you want to save like one little bit of extra wiggle room for stock, you can get one person, down them, save some room for potential exposure gameplay. For Demogorgon, I'm going to recommend Save the Best for Last, and for Demogorgon, Save the Best for Last is the best perk on this killer. And here's why. Demogorgon has a shred attack that will not make you lose tokens when you hit your obsession. So you can M1 the other 3 survivors and M2 the obsession. That way you save your Save the Best for Last token. For Oni, the best possible perk I can come up with is Blood Echo. That way survivors who are injured will get the hemorrhage and exhaustion status effects, get rid of those dead hards, and make those slowdown heals a breeze. For Deathslinger, this is probably one of my most recommended perks on him. It is Starstruck. When you carry a survivor, any survivor that is in your terror radius while you carry, the down survivor will be hit with the exposed status effect. And the best part is that Deathslinger's power with the rifle is a basic M1 attack. So Starstruck is going to work on him if you're just M1ing him or shooting him with a M1 attack. For the Executioner, I'm going to recommend I'm All Ears. The Executioner has a M2 ability. You put your knife on the ground and he creates a bit of a wave, I would call it, of potential downing ability. So with I'm All Ears, the moment a survivor vaults a pallet, the M2 attack can attack through walls. So that's why I'm recommending I'm All Ears on the Executioner. Alright, for Blight, I'm going to recommend Tinkerer. For the Blight, this is probably one of the best perks that you can use on him. With Tinkerer, you can quickly go to the generator undetectable while rushing, and honestly, that's pretty much a really good strategy towards any type of Blights. So yes, Tinkerer, put that on him. You should have an easy time trying to stop survivors from stopping gens. Alright, for Twins, we're going to be using Deerstalker. Let's just say you down a survivor and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to go for more. And then you see a survivor that is on the healthy state and you put him on the injured state with Victor while you walk around where you think you've downed the first survivor with Victor. Deerstalker's there to help you. Alright, for Trickster, I'm going to recommend Blood Warden, and mainly because of rookie players. So with Blood Warden, the first time you hook a survivor during the endgame collapse, the entity will block the exit. So this will be really useful for tricksters that are still new to him, still having a tough time, and that's the best I can come up with. As well as for Nemesis, this is the best I can come up with, but I'm just gonna say Mindbreaker. For Mindbreaker, when people do the generators, they gain the exhaustion stats effect for 5 seconds. This would probably be the best opportunity to hit survivors with your tentacle, get them infected, and then make it easier for you to get those downs. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video, more of a commentary of what's the best perks to use for killers. And keep in mind, I don't play every single killer. I have tried to get the best out of what the possible situation can be for these perks and these killers. If you guys like what you see, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe down below. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Peace.